I started solving my problems when I started studying my own content. Stay with me on that one. I hope you caught that. Studying your own content, nobody told me that that was the cheat code. Like, honestly, as a creator, have you ever just sat down and studied your own content? Hey guys, this is Rece, where we talk all things outside of the kitchen. Welcome to my table. I'm so happy to have you guys here. We're going to talk all things content today. As you guys know, I own SRC Kitchen, a food platform that is ever growing, of course. But before we get into that, I need you guys to subscribe. Subscribe, hit those push notification buttons so that you can know that anytime that I post something, you will find out and you will know. All right, well, let's get into it. Let's talk about some wins real quick. I had a couple of wins. I just got 7,000 followers on Instagram. Yes, on SRC Kitchen. And remember, I told y'all on the last video, I've been on the internet a little over 10 years now. And I'm just now learning how to really build my platform, really build numbers, really understand the gift of engagement. I work as a digital content operations manager by day. So, ooh, excuse me. So you would think that I should have already got it. Oh no, my day job has actually been showing me the science behind content. And of course, my day job, they have hundreds and thousands of followers. They have over 590,000 followers. And I'm nowhere near there yet. However, it's very important for me to understand that corporate aspect and then transfer it into my own content. So just some wins, like I said, 7,000 followers gained on Instagram. I gained over 2,200 followers this week alone. Actually, not this week, last week. Also, I gained about over almost 250 followers, if not more now, on TikTok. So we are officially past 4,000 followers. I just had, I want to say a week before that, maybe like 3,800 or 3,700 or so. And we end up getting about 4,200 now or so. And I think some like a little over 4,000, I believe. And I have just been seeing the numbers, the engagement, the comments, the saves, and if you do any type of content like me that requires savable work like food, fashion, beauty, anything that's step by step and instruction based, you know that that matters more than the number of followers, if I'm being honest with you. And that's something that I had to learn. Are people saving? Are people engaging? It's not really much so all the time the comments. It's really more so, are they sharing? Are they reposting? And that has worked in my favor last week. So, question number one, we have to get right into it. Have you ever studied your own content? I promise you, a lot of you will solve your problems if you just study your own content. The cheat code to truly being a creative is to get back in the lab and look at what you have in the archive. There is so much content that I have since 2014, since building SRC Kitchen. And to be quite frank with you, I don't think I've ever sat down and just said, let me look back at it until I want to say the past maybe 2 years. And I would take old content and just repurpose it. But it's one thing to take old content and repurpose it, it's another to study the old content. So I wasn't really telling a story then. I think I was just posting until something hits and it goes viral. And that's the quickest way to actually discourage you. This is the time where you have to learn how to mind your business. This is absolutely the time to learn how to mind your business. And this is why I say this, because building your own content requires you to get in the lab and get to work. I tell people all the time, content is a job. It's not something that's fun. It's not sexy at times, especially when you're in the beginning stages of trying to build your platform, and you want to see true engagement and numbers. You really have to study your own. And let me just say this as a disclaimer. It is okay to have creative inspo, but I want to let you know that other creatives will not have the same juice as you, just like you will not have their own juice. So emulating or trying to replicate what a creator has is not always going to work in your favor at the end of the day. And we live in a time now, people are calling people out. Okay. You know why sometimes building content can be a bit disheartening and just a lot? Because we're too busy looking at other people's content. We're so focused on who has what on the outside, but we're never focused on ourselves. I just finished a Whole 30 diet, um, within the month of May, from May 4th to about June 4th. And this is something that me and my husband just decided to do. We decided to detox our whole body, and so many more we had, and so much more. We had health goals, just things that will get our mind, body, spirit, soul right, and things like that. And it all starts with what you consume. And I just decided to share my journey. And so sharing this journey has been nothing short of amazing, because what I did not know is that so many people will say, I want to make a change in my life. And what better time than the summertime to express how you want to change your body, you know? And I mean, people are going on vacations, people are postpartum, people are, or people are trying, and people are just in different walks of life. And they just want to detox their body and they want to do something better for themselves. So I just decided to share my journey, and I'm going to show you guys, and I'm going to tell you guys the formula to that. So just last week, I went viral. I want to say a number of days throughout the week. I went viral a couple times last week. And then with the whole Food Network debut of the first episode from like 2 weeks ago and things like that, it's just, I've been getting a lot of traction on my page. But I think the whole 30 series really, really just stood out and made sure that I got the juice that I needed, or I got the exposure that I needed. So much so that I have brand deals or brand inquiries once a week. This is something that is very surreal, because I have been praying about this for the past couple of months. I said months, the past couple of years. I've been praying about this for some years. And what makes this more beautiful is the fact that I was just consistent. But I will say, when I prayed for it within those number of years, I did not really have a formula of how I was going to get there, which is absolutely okay, because sometimes you just need to start. So, me sharing my journey is what made me develop the double down method. And the double down method is not something that necessarily is brand new, but this became a light bulb when I started studying my own content. So, what it means to double down: take a risk. So take a risk on your own content. That's just kind of how I take it. I mean, I double down with a number of things in my life that I probably shouldn't, but with my content, I said, why not take that chance? Why not take a risk and see what happens from there? So taking a loop video that was about 10 seconds that moved very, very quickly, that was just an opportunity for my audience to now ask me questions about Whole30. Where's the recipes? Where's the cookbooks? How do I follow you on Substack? How do I follow you here? Are you on YouTube? Are there any step by step? The questions did not stop. And let me tell you guys, the more questions that people ask, the more that's content engagement for you. So, what I would do is take some of those comments that my audience would ask me, and I just flip it and turn it into content. And I know TikTok has this thing where you can actually you can respond to a comment with a video. So I decided to, I didn't do any of that, which once in a while I do that, but I find what works for me, honestly, is if I just respond, hey, well, I find out what works for me is if I just simply just respond with a comment, because it keeps driving people. And honestly, just like if you respond with a video, it's still going to drive people to come to your page. So that worked, right? I took now, so this is so I want y'all to pay attention. The double down method starts with your content, and your content alone. Starts with your content. You then go with the loop. Anything that will put everything that you've done for the week or for the month within 10 seconds, if you can just give a 10-second highlight of what you did and how you did it. Or you don't even have to give the how, just the what. Start with that. Once you get that and you get some engagement, double down again and give out the full length of the how and the why you did it. You know what I'm saying? And then in my case, because I did a Whole30 series, all the little clips that were in that loop, I just made them their own separate recipe video. And that's pretty much what I did. So, I think it just kind of like not only made me have aha moments, but also a little bit of, why didn't you think of this years ago? Maybe would I have gone further than I was, that would I have gone further than I did years ago? or what? I don't know. But I do believe in divine timing. Timing is everything, of course. I do have to also give myself grace because content is a whole job. Content is not easy. Content is not something that you can just wake up and just do. I mean, technically, yes, you can just set up the tripod, put your phone on top, add a mic, and click record. But what's the use if you don't have any value? And if you don't have anything to share that's going to actually give impact? And that's what my goal is all about, is just kind of giving that impact or whatever. But I didn't want to take up your time. I didn't want to take up so much of you guys' time because I want you guys to know that content is supposed to be exciting. It's supposed to be exciting. It may not have exciting moments at times, but when you remember your why and you remember, what made you start, it just kind of lights a fire under you to go ahead and start, I mean, to just go for the goal. So, you may think that my method may not make any sense. I'm not sure. But for me, it worked for me. And just because my method did not work for you, if you choose to follow that, it does not mean that you are a bad content creator. We are so down on ourselves as creators. And mind you, I do content for a living. I do content outside of this as my day job. And even that can be a bit stressful because you will be creative in one way, but there's so many different people on the team to where they feel that they have a different vision and they feel that what they think works better. Doesn't mean that theirs is the best or mine is the best. It just means that everybody is creative and everyone is unique. I want to also encourage someone to understand that I have been on the internet for a little over 10 years and I'm just now getting it. If you think that you not getting it within 1 year is an issue, it is absolutely not. This is the time to be a student. This is a time to be a student to your content. This is a time to be a student to your platform. There's a lot of things that I did not know regarding my audience. I know that they like food, and that wasn't enough for me to actually gain the followers that I have now exponentially. There was a time that I had 2,000 followers, and I was equally impressed and very proud. And this was maybe a few years ago. And you're probably wondering, why did it take you so long to get 7,000 followers? I didn't have direction. I didn't have a sense of where do I go next? How do I do this? I just truly did not know. And I think that the more times that I threw things inside of the pool to swim, I would eventually find something that actually floated. And that's just now the time that I'm doing that. Think of it like this. I remember in elementary school and middle school, we had science projects, and a lot of times we would use litmus paper. I'm probably showing my age or letting y'all know how old I am, but we use litmus paper, and these are for our science experiments. And I remember using litmus paper, and it'll either turn red or blue. And whatever color it comes up with is now you draw a conclusion or an inference. Um, you're pretty much testing a hypothesis or all those terms and things like that. But what I'm pretty much saying is that you are testing things out. You don't know if it's going to be here or there, left or right. You're not sure what it's going to be until you actually do the work. And sometimes it takes for you to execute a number of years to realize what does actually work. And that's okay. That is absolutely okay. A lot of greats that you're seeing on the internet and a lot of the influencers that you see now. I grew up in the era of like OG YouTubers. I grew up in the era of Jackie Aina back when she was doing content like earlier on. And I remember Jackie posting videos. And when you see Jackie today doing what she does, it is incredible, honestly. It is incredible. And it's amazing to watch how someone's growth for over, I mean, I don't think of course, it's way more than 10 years, but just seeing the number of years that she has grown. And I remember being in college watching her in 2008, 2009. I remember that, and just seeing what she's built today. I need you guys to know that those greats started from somewhere. And honestly, I do have goals. One of my summer goal is to get 10,000 followers on Instagram, of course. And I'm well on my way. I'm well on my way. I feel like the formula that I've been using so far has been exactly what I need. And guess what? That formula might change. That formula actually might change. And that's okay. It's not a big deal if your formula changes because guess what? The point of your content is so that you can evolve. You're supposed to evolve. You're supposed to change. You're supposed to break through. You're supposed to grow. And guess what? You might fail too. The numbers may not number, the followers may not follow, and that's okay. That's absolutely okay. I keep on saying that it's okay because I want you guys to know that it is not punishment because you are not seeing the results that you want. I this is what I always say to myself. You only see the results that you want when you do the work. You don't see the results when you mope, when you complain, and when you get upset. You don't see the results when you don't post. Analytics is only drawn when you actually hit post, when you actually hit submit. So for every action, there's a reaction. Content for me, my goal, my biggest goal for me is to be paid for my creativity, be paid as a creator handsomely, and in a way that it changes my life, my family's life, my children, you name it. I want it to change all of these different things. However, I know that in order to touch any of that, I have to do the work. So I appreciate the brand deals because I am getting practice. I always tell myself every day that you're getting an opportunity, this is practice for the bigger picture. I have bigger dreams than just, of course, creating, which I think with time, I'll definitely break all that down. But I just say that what's gotten me the numbers, what's gotten me the engagement, what's gotten me where I needed to go is because I simply studied my content. One of my goals for the month of June is to continue to keep my eyes on my content. And that's just very important to me because I'm not focused on what's on the outside. I'm focused on what works for me. And I think that what we need to understand is that when we customize our own formula to our own content, we will solve our problems. I want you guys to go out and create and do great things. If you're into travel, beauty, food, lifestyle, whatever it is, go and create well. Um, Creativity is God given. I believe creativity is so God given to the point that we absolutely cannot emulate other people. I believe that all of our callings and all of our anointings are just different, and that's how God made us. So if we're so focused on what other people have, it's a waste of time. It's truly a waste of time. Anywho, guys, I'm going to go ahead and go, and I'm going to start dinner. And I hope you guys remember, study your own content. And don't forget to subscribe now because I'm coming back next week. Anyway, peace.